So we received the call about 5 a.m. for a report of this fire. Obviously, everybody that was responding was well aware of this address because there was a fire here previously on April 29th. The most important thing is nobody was injured on this particular fire. It was a vacant house. The owners of the house, or the people that reside here on the first fire on April 29, I believe that one is still in the hospital, and I'm not sure on the second one. Our fire investigators were not able to complete that investigation. They were waiting for the health to improve on the people that were home at the time of the fire. For this particular fire, our firefighters were able to get it under control fairly quickly. Obviously, it was the same crew, same firefighters that responded the first time, so they had basically a chance to really know the building and to know exactly where to place the water. What is customary in a fire that we went defensive like we did on this one on April 29th is to put what we call a fire watch in place. We understand that in these fires where we can actually get inside the building and actually move walls and pull ceilings down and really get inside and make sure that the fire is out, then we put a fire watch on. We have a crew here, and we did after April 29 for 24 hours straight to make sure that the fire didn't rekindle or come back or start again. Unfortunately, in this particular situation, 4 days later, that's a long time, but it is definitely feasible. If you think about those safety messages that we're always telling you, for example, when you clean out your fireplace, things like that, you have to be very careful because things can ignite week up to maybe a week in advance or after that you pulled release the
So maybe something was still smoldering
yes.
that whole time?
Yeah. So if you think about like if you were to clean your fireplace out, we ask people to take those hot embers and keep them out of the house and in a bucket for a long period of time because things can rekindle up to a week or even longer if the conditions aren't correct. In this particular situation, it was extremely difficult for those firefighters to ensure that the house was out, that the fire was absolutely out, because it was too unsafe for them to actually get inside and start moving things around. So in this situation, fortunately, nobody was injured. Unfortunately, the first time we did have 2 injuries of the 2 people, but fortunately this time we didn't. We knew ahead of time about the neighbors and who the neighbors were and where they lived and their medical condition. We were able to take care of them right away. And once again, the hydrant system worked beautifully. We did notify the water department just as a precaution because of the history in this neighborhood, but fortunately it wasn't necessary. So in this situation, I'm sure that we are going to keep yet another fire watch for quite a while longer, just to make sure that something like this doesn't happen.
What's left to burn it? What was left of the last fire?
Well, there was a lot of material that hadn't burned already, and what makes when we call a rekindle, what makes that more dangerous is that the structure's already built to burn. It already has holes in the right places, so it's getting oxygen to just make a fire grow. So once you get a rekindle, if you get a small little amount of flame, it can expand very quickly. And then there's no detection places, smoke detectors or anything, and nobody's living in it, and so that it has that chance to really grow prior to anybody knowing from the outside of the structure.
Is it surprising to see this rekindle after so much heavy rain that we've had in the last 24 hours?
Obviously, we do everything we can to prevent rekindle, so yes, it is. And the fact that we had fire crews here for so long, and what is also customary is in a particular situation like this, very often neighboring fire stations will come by and use this as a little bit of a drill. Look at it, and they can study the fire progression, and companies were doing that as well. Myself, I was even by here yesterday. So, you look at that kind of situation and go, wow, this is amazing, but it is a reminder that you cannot control fire in that respect, and that once a fire starts, it can grow rapidly, and you can't always make sure that things are out. So when we talk about we're still on scene working with hotspots, you have a good idea of why this is such hard work. And we have to be on scene for a long period of time. And sometimes we do a lot of destruction to a structure, sometimes more than the fire does, just to make sure that something like this doesn't happen.
What have we done today? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just that there was no fire watch in place this morning.
No, we had it for 24 hours after, plus crews doing sort of a drive-by walk. But when the fire started at 5 a.m., no, we did not have it.
Prior to initial cause,
it is so early. In fact, the fire investigators haven't even completed the first investigation because they haven't had a chance, obviously, to speak with the couple. So it is way too early. Fire investigators obviously are here on scene because this adds to their challenge in trying to find out what actually caused it because more damage has been done.
Had they had the investigators tried any kind of access prior to today?
You want to walk
inside the structure?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't know if they've actually been inside.